just now started. Hello, I'm Tommy.
And I'm Meddena.
And this is 1 Million Mile Road Trip. And we are in, where are we at?
Kitty Hawk.
We're in Kitty Hawk, North Carolina on the Outer Banks. We are at the Wright Brothers Memorial and Museum. And we're going to give you a little bit of show you what we're doing.
I was trying to... The light of my home, writing in his diary what his wife got when she died.
What's that?
She was the light of my home when she died.
So on this bird flight, followed here.
Good morning, visitors of the RVing program. In 5 minutes at 11 o'clock, on the back patio of the visitor center, the RVing program at 11 o'clock. In 5 minutes, on the back patio of the visitor center.
So, good morning. My name is David True. I'm a park ranger here at Wright Brothers National Memorial. Welcome. So welcome to the camp building and the hangar right now of where the Wright Brothers actually did their work. This camp building was actually an original hangar, and they built this basically around 1901. They couldn't use it for the airplane, it was too big, so they built a new hangar for that. The thing I love presenting about the hangar is keep in mind it was different at the time the Wright Brothers are here compared to today because there's all sand. And they built these things. Can you imagine the work that they had to do to build all this on sand? These buildings are, of course, exact replicas, but they don't last very long in the condition. And the ones that were here originally, they were gone in a few years. They started flying kites out here, and they had gliders, and they used the gliders basically like kites. And every now and then, somebody would ride it. Often it was Tom Tate. Tom Tate would get on board one of these kites, and he would fly with the Wright Brothers below. And I'm thinking that must have been a lot of fun. They built a rail, a 60-foot rail in the sand. They can't fly the airplane off a glider, like a glider off the hills. It has to have a nice area for sustained flight. So, like a bicycle, they build a little rail. They have a bicycle hub on the rail. They put a dolly on top of that hub, and the plane sits on it. And when it takes off, theory would have it, the plane would go down the dolly on that rail, take off, and the dolly would just slide right off the rail. Perfect, because you can't use wheels in the sand. The Wright Brothers are set. They decide December 11th is going to be the day we make history. Now, it just so happens that down the sand there was a life-saving station. It was a Kitty Hawk life-saving station, but they basically worked it out that if they needed help, they kind of would wave a flag, and the men from the life-saving station would come and help them get set up. So they waved a flag, the men came up from the life-saving station, they get the plane set up on the rail, and Orville Wilbur flip a coin. Who's going to be the first to fly? Wilbur wins. So they get the engines running. The men are out there helping with the plane. Orville's on the side helping stabilize the wings a little bit. There's a restraining line keeping the plane from moving. And then Wilbur climbs up, gets under controls, lays down, gets his hips in the hip cradle, and when he's ready to go, he releases that restraining line, and that plane starts to move down that rail. Slowly, a little bit faster, and then Wilbur pushes back on the pitch control, and that plane starts to rise, but it doesn't fly. It just goes up in the air and goes right back down and breaks. December 11th, failure, no control. But guess what? Wilbur was pretty happy. Orville was pretty happy. Wilbur was particularly happy because guess what? That plane can fly. The problem was Wilbur actually overcompensated on the controls. Makes sense, nobody's ever flown an airplane before. Landed in the sand, broke it. Luckily, it didn't require a whole lot to fix it back up again. They had the parts here to fix it, and they did it. And now, December 17th came. And now, they're going to try it again. They wanted to get back to Dayton for Christmas. They call for the life-saving station. They come back and help them. Wilbur and Orville get the plane, and along with the other men, on the rail. It's Orville's turn to fly. It's only fair. Orville has his camera. Got a nice camera. He sets it up in the sand like he did for the first attempt. He can't fly. He can't take a picture because, he's going to be flying the airplane. So he asked one of the life-saving men, hey, can you take the picture? The guy's name was John Daniels. John Daniels, of course, says to Orville, I've never taken a picture my entire life. Orville gives him a bulb and says, okay, they get back on the rail. Wilbur flies off 852 feet, 59 seconds. Way out there where number 4 is listed at. Can't even see it right now. But that would be the last time in history that the Wright Flyer or the mechanized turkey watcher would ever fly again. Because as the plane was resting in the sand, a gust of wind came, it lifted the plane up, tossed the plane, broke the engine, broke the propellers, and almost broke John Daniels, who was actually trying to hold it down in the sand. Flipped him as well, but he ended up being okay. It was done. The plane was broken. The Wright brothers picked up the pieces, eventually sent a telegram to Milton, their dad, about their success with the flight. But the question is, everyone that was at the life-saving station saw what happened. Of course, Wilbur and Orville saw what happened. Who else could be how he can document all this? No one's going to believe this, right? Well, when they get back to Dayton, Ohio, and Orville's looking at these photos and developing them, it just turned out that John Daniels happened to squeeze the bulb at the right moment. And perhaps the most famous photo in the history of aviation, perhaps, was taken. The airplane, the Wright brothers, Orville flying and Wilbur on the side, was accomplished.
Okay, these are the flights they made, Orville and his brother, before the airplane was destroyed by the wind, actually. First flight was from here. They went down a rail. This rail here, it was iron rail. It took off from there, flew to right here. It was 12 seconds, 120 feet. Pilot was Orville Wright, and then his brother did this one a little further, and then Orville did the next one. They're in competition with each other, tried to get the most, and then the final flight was down at all the way at the other end. Unbelievable. First flight, when you get in an airplane, you're flying in an airplane, it all started here. Okay, Dina got her passport book, National Park, and get it stamped. We got it stamped with the Wright brothers. We got this idea from Keep Your Daydream. It's a great way to kind of keep memories of all the parks that you've been to. And
we bought one last time, but we don't know where it is. Look, so they said because you've got such small areas, to keep them close so you can get 4 to a thing. This is for a big stamp that you can buy.
Yeah.
But she said if you don't want the stamps, just keep stamping there.
Okay, great. We're over here at the Wright Brothers Memorial, and we were gonna walk it up there to the top, but it has gotten hot. It's probably around 80 degrees now.
It says 67.
It's not. I'm sweating, and it is very steep. I don't think my back could handle it today. Dana said she might volunteer to get some pictures, but then she said no. So go down the window and
I saw somebody huffing it up there.
take pictures of it. Look, there's airplanes over here. There's a runway over there. People a lot of times will come in here, and just because they want to land, be the ones to land at the place where the Wright brothers flew their planes.
Oh man.
I don't think look, here's the airplane down there. So
Yeah, but it's got some stuff up there that would be pretty
it's
interesting.
just some words.
No, it's not just words. It's some.
It's the same they did.
I thought it
He
was.
told us about it.
I thought it was statues up there.
This is Looks like a metal replica of the plane that they flew, that Orville first flew over Wright. You know, I heard they flipped coin to see who was going to fly it. Wilbur flew the first one, but it went up about 6 feet and crashed immediately. Never did really get off the ground. So they had Orville, and he's the one that did the first flight.
Okay, you ready for this? This is funny.
Okay.
So where did the name Kill Devil Hills come from? One theory is the name is derived from rum, possibly originating from the Caribbean islands or New England. That was strong enough to kill the devil.
Yeah, he told us that.
In
I don't know if I got
it. 1700s, Virginia William Byrd wrote, most of the rum they get in this country is so bad and unwholesome that it is not improperly called Kill Devil, proving the rum has already referred to the name.
Yeah, they'll let you walk out here too. This is showing Wilbur. Of course, he was standing out there trying to steady the wing. What they did was they had the plane fly down this metal rail so it would be balanced, and then it would not have any drag to it, and then he got off the ground with it. So he had 2 propellers. And this shows other people, and they even had a guy that caught it on film because they didn't know how they were going to prove that they did it. They only had, these guys were from the rescue place down the road. They had Wilbur and Orville. Now Wilbur was right here, and then he had one of the rescuers actually popped a photo of them flying, and that's the way they could prove that they flew here. Isn't that, it's just amazing what, you know, they did back then, and this is how flight started. Absolutely. Here, Dana, take a picture.